Hi, my name is Daphne Kopelman-Rubin. I'm an educational psychologist and the head of the Learning Disabilities and ADHD unit here at the IDC. And I'm going to present today our flagship program, I Can Succeed. It is a school-based program aimed in enhancing executive functioning skills among kids and adolescents. Executive functioning skills are the higher cognitive processes like being able to plan ahead, organize, monitor, problem solving, regulate your emotions. So I have less than 10 minutes to tell you about the work we've been doing for the last 10 years. Quite a stressful situation. But actually, it is really similar to the situation that the students with learning disabilities or ADHD has to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Because you have all these ideas and thoughts running around your head, probably a few of them are creative and good, and you find it really hard to find a way to express them in a systematic and organized way. Sounds frustrating, right? Because it really is. And let's give it a try. So I'm sure all of you have heard the term dyslexia or learning disabilities. And nowadays, a common term is used, specific learning disorder. And it actually refers to the situation that a boy or a girl, even though that he is intelligent, motivated, has access to regular education system, doesn't suffer from any sensory disability, even though he doesn't succeed in reaching the level of reading or writing or math as expected according to his level of IQ, intelligence, and to his age. And most common learning disabilities, about 30 to 40%, co-occur with ADHD. ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, actually comprises out of two large groups of symptoms or behaviors. One is the hyperactive impulsivity behaviors, like the need to be running around and to move all the time, find it really hard to wait for your turn, interrupting into others' conversations or activities. And then you have the inattentive symptoms, like being forgetful or distracted really easily, find it hard to concentrate for prolonged times. And we have 4 different presentations depending on the number of symptoms that you have from each group. But maybe the most important thing for me to say today here about ADHD, that we used to think that it's a childhood condition, which means when the child will grow up, he will grow out of it. And the bad news, this is not the situation. Most of the adults that were diagnosed with ADHD before age 12, are still dealing with ADHD symptoms all through their lives. And what makes the story even more complicated is the fact that once you were diagnosed with learning disabilities or ADHD or both, it puts you in higher risk for all other very complicated problems like depression, anxiety, higher chance to be involved in car accident and all kinds of injuries, up to 4 times. It puts you in risk for behavioral problems, bullying, crime, addiction, feeling lonely and less connected to school, which leads to higher rates of school dropouts and lower level of education and income, finding how to provide for yourself and for your family and to contribute to society. But on the other hand, we keep hearing stories, mostly through the media, from all these famous people. This is only a few. I didn't have enough room for all of them. I'm sure you recognize their faces. And they are talking quite openly about their ADD, ADHD, dyslexia, and so on. So the question is, what makes the difference? Why one child go ahead with his life, have a successful, fulfilling life, while the other might end up in jail? So we ask this question, and looking at the literature, works from all around the world shows us that there are 3 levels of resilience factors. One is the intrapersonal level, like being able to know your learning style, knowing your strengths area as well as your difficulties, being able to set realistic goals and to take the responsibility of pursuing them. The other level is the interpersonal level, being able to communicate effectively, self-advocacy for yourself. And the systematic level is the third level, getting support from your family, from your school, and actually the bottom line of it all, that you have at least one person in your life that you can look at his eyes, deep in his eyes, and see that he is actually believing in you. This makes all the difference, right? So we thought to ourselves, well, all these resilience factors actually can be acquired. If you're lucky enough, you were born with them. But if not, you can develop them. And what we did is translated all this theoretical knowledge into a manualized program, a school-based program. And you can see the meaning of our logo in the corner over there reflect our belief that learning doesn't happen in an isolated dimension. It is really connected to your interpersonal relationships with others. Underneath are your interpersonal skills, of course, and your ability to regulate your mood. And these dynamics, hopefully, will create a good atmosphere for learning to happen. So we started with adolescents who were diagnosed with learning disabilities because they are in the most higher risk group. Going into middle school is a higher risk for these kids. And then we developed a universal prevention program for younger kids. But what is most important to us is that ICS is delivered in the natural environment of the kid by their homeroom teacher. We are training the teachers to become the students' mentors. And actually, we hope that the students can look at his teacher and see that he believes in him. So if he does, I can maybe start believing myself as well. And right from the beginning, we work with stakeholders together, with the Ministry of Education here in Israel, local municipalities, and the National Insurance Institute in order to learn from their knowledge and to design the model as a feasible and ecological as can be. Here are results from one study. We followed 8th grade students with learning disabilities and ADHD and all symptoms of depression, anxiety. You can see the red line for the intervention group, and the blue line is for students that are in other cities that didn't have ICS. They get what we call treatment as usual, whatever the school can provide them. And you can see that in one school year, a student that got ICS actually improved in terms of internalizing problems like depression, anxiety, externalizing problems like behavior problems. Their communication skills getting better. And the sad story is that you can see that their mates from the other schools actually decreased their functioning. And what else happened is the teachers from middle school were telling us, listen, this ICS content is relevant to all our kids. Why not delivering in an all-class format? So we said yes, and let's start with younger kids. And actually, we designed ICS to address the content of younger kids from 1st to 6th grade. And the prevention program is a universal one for all the kids in the class in an RTA model, which means response to intervention. So the teacher can do extra work only with the group of students that needs it. And in the green, you can see these are the few, about 5% of the children that are really dealing with learning disabilities and ADHD. And here is another study that we did for 2 years. We followed 4th grade students. And you can see that after getting this universal prevention program, they actually have better skills in assertiveness, empathy, less involved in bullying, physical as well as verbal bullying. And we also asked the teachers, what do they think about this intervention? We did quite a long survey, but here I put only the 3 bottom line questions. Would you recommend it to a colleague, to a student? And was it worth the effort I don't know about Indian teachers in Israel. It's really hard to motivate them to work for new things. And here are the figures. And here are the cities that we've been lucky to work with for the last several years. And our home city, Herzliya, is actually running the ICS through all the elementary schools and middle schools for 5 years now. And let me conclude by saying that we believe that achieving excellence in education for the 21st century requires that every student is ready to learn and every teacher is empowered to teach. Thank you very much. This is my email. I'll be more than happy to be in contact with you. Thank you.